Have you guys ever got into a game and realized, I don't know where to go? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you just spawned in, you see your teammates, you see what ships they pick, you are thinking to yourself, where do I go? Where on this big old map do I go? Like, what's the first thing I should do? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about early game. You spawn into a match, figure out who your teammates are, what ships they're in, and then what do you do from there? So a lot of these maps, they have spawns like this where, you're all three grouped up in, let's say, a destroyer, a cruiser, and a battleship. And if I'm here, where do I go from here? Do I go all the way over here? Nope. Do I go through the middle? Nope. This is why I drew this green line right in here. And this is more for destroyers early game, but I've seen a lot of cruisers do it too. So I'm going to point out a couple really strong positions. We're going to focus on this side of the map first off, and then we're going to move on to the rest. We're going to go over blue team positioning first, and then we're going to go over where this spawn seems to be going most likely, right? What's the common thing that you'll see from red team when you spawn over here? So let's start off with destroyers because they're the front line and they are the one who everyone needs to follow and needs to support for everybody. Okay, this green line I put in right here is the middle of the map. Okay, in the first 5 minutes of the game, you should be very hesitant to cross this line. By going over this line early game, you are condemning yourself to die because now, once you cross this line, you have many more enemies than you do allies. It'll be a lot easier for them to hit you, you'll be a lot closer, and you'll be easier to spot and get out of the game. We are on Shatter, and this is capture the base. So where should this little blue guy go, right? Because we're focused on this side of the map. This little blue guy, okay, this is the path you should be taking in order to get early spotting without risking your life. I see a lot of destroyers do this maneuver right here. They go through the middle and they try to do some kind of torpy boat thing where they're throwing torps over here. They're throwing torps through this gap, maybe this gap. If the enemy team has a little bit of a brain, what they're going to do is the cruiser's going to come over here. He's going to get spotted. He's going to radar. He's going to shoot you. You're going to die, right? And then these guys they spawn right here in line with this. All they have to do is go forward a little bit and they can shoot you in here as well. So the moment that you cross this section right here and you take a right or you take a left and you go this way, you're dead. I mean, you should be dead. This maneuver right here is a no-go. Going over here is a no-go. You are the spotter. You need to move forward and you also need to be useful for your team while not risking your life. Not just focusing on your life the whole time and going around here and doing destroyer things. The destroyer that goes over here is as useful for his team as the destroyer that goes over here. So, yeah, this is not a good idea. What you really want to be doing, and you can cut through here, but you do need to come out before you commit forward because a lot of the time this cruiser will come in here. He'll just sit right there and wait for somebody to come around this island. This is close enough to where if you're a destroyer with not the best concealment, like 5.5, you will get spotted. And we're going to talk about why this maneuver is actually really good for the cruiser right here. But destroyers should be moving this way, ideally, spotting, not going past this middle section right here, and doing what he can to stay alive while throwing torps at the enemy team over here. In order for the destroyer to be able to do that safely, he's going to need cruiser support, right? So let's talk about where I'm going to go first. I'm going to move this direction, right? I'm not going to go down in here. I'm not going to try to get spotted. I can develop kind of a crossfire over here if things get spotted over here. But I'm going to try and use this island right here and shoot through this gap just in case this destroyer is moving around over here. And the only safe place for him will be around this island where he's not very useful. He cannot launch torpedoes at our teammates from here because they're going to hit the island. This position around this island right here is where I want to be. I'm keeping an eye over here, trying to make sure I'm not going to get crossfired. And if I do, I'm going to move. If they move up here, I'm going to move my ship around here. Ideally, we would have another cruiser right here as well. And if there is a long-range cruiser, like a DM Donskoy or anything with beyond range, they're going to be using this island right here. So essentially what you're going to have is you're going to have a cruiser here, you're going to have a cruiser here, and you're going to have a cruiser here. And if this position gets exposed, I'm going to move over here to this position, and I'm going to move over here to this position. Uh, you this way, hopefully this cruiser is far enough away from this island, maybe positioned in this direction like this, to fire over this island and onto the enemies. These two will be positioned in a way where they can support the destroyer, who's going to be moving around here. Now, if their destroyer overcommits, crosses this line at all and gets spotted, then he's going to have fire from here and here to support their destroyer. Now, battleships. A lot of you like to just go forward and park it. I see a lot of battleships parking their battleship right here where this cruiser should be. You are not that vulnerable. I understand wanting will to rebuild, but that is not a good position for you. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over here and you're going to want to use this island right here. You're not going to commit all the way up to the edge of this island because you need to be able to back around here to your other cruiser. This cruiser right here will be giving you will to rebuild. This position right here will allow you to shoot into the enemy spawn, which is essentially your goal as a battleship, to support your cruisers and to punish overcommitting enemy teams. A good position for this battleship would be to come over here, use this island right here with me. He could even hang back a little bit. Let's say he doesn't commit to this island completely, and he wants to get a crossfire over here. He can position himself right around here. This way, he's not getting shot from the enemy from this direction, and the only people he has to worry about are right here. Now, this is a good holding position, right? So now you have a battleship here. You have a cruiser right here. You have a cruiser right here. Your destroyer is around here. You've got a cruiser right here. These positions, these are very strong positions to hold, and it really punishes the enemy team for overcommitting. Now, let's work on this side, right? So you've got a really nice defense set up on this side, where if anything comes around here, they're dead. If anything comes up around here, they're isolated and they're dead, right? You're not giving broadside to anything. This destroyer doesn't know what to do. It can't spot these two cruisers, and even if it could spot this cruiser or this cruiser, it would need help from the whole other side of the map in order to deal with them. This would essentially funnel them into the middle of the map, which is where you want them, and is what would make them easier to die, right? It'd be a lot easier to get them out of the game if you do that. So this destroyer, it does need to move around here. This is pretty common. See a lot of destroyer fights happening around here, but a lot of the time you'll get a cruiser hanging around here, waiting for something to rush this, and that shouldn't happen. Okay, what you want is you want your destroyer to come around here, and you want him to be spotting at least through spawn, trying to hold his position on his side of the line. Then you want your cruiser to be pushing up with him using this island right here, and he can even back up and try an arc over here if things are going to go down the middle, right? Which is kind of where you're pushing them with this setup right here. And then this battleship is going to be right around here. This is essentially where you want your battleship. You want them to be able to shoot right here if something tries to cross the island and mess with your destroyer. But you're playing this line the whole time. This line, this is your home. You do not want to go over your home and leave your home. You want to stay. This, this is your home. Stay in your home. This is your house. These are your people. These are good people. You know, you got a nice little building right here. You know what I mean? Look at this beautiful house, this beautiful home you've built. Don't burn it down by going over this line.